Hello everybody, I am Swarup Kumar Mishra, Faculty Department of BCA, Jamshedpur Cooperative College, Jamshedpur. In today's tutorial, I am going to discuss on the subject DBMS, which is in BCA Semester 3. In today's tutorial, I am going to discuss on the topics database abstraction. So data abstraction is basically hiding of data. It hides the database abstraction hides the complexity of the database system from users through various levels of abstraction to simplify users' interaction with the system. So the different levels of abstraction of database are: first one is physical level. The lowest level of data abstraction describes how the data are actually stored in the database. The physical level describes the complex low-level data structures in detail. Logical level. The next higher level of abstraction describes what data are stored in the database and what relationships exist among those data. The logical level thus describes the entire database in terms of small number of relatively simple structure. It is the database administrator who decides what data are to be stored in the database. The database administrator works on the logical level of data abstraction. The next level is view level. It is the highest level of abstraction which describes only part of the entire database. That is, the user does not get the access of the whole database. The user gets only a part of the database for which he or she is authorized. Now next is instances and schemas. Instances. It is the collection of information stored in the database at a particular moment is called an instance. For an example, if there is a database table, new records are inserted in the database table, and there may be some deletion of records also in the database. Then there may be some updation in the database records. So at any particular point of time, a database is the snapshot of a database is known as an instance of database. The instance of database keeps on changing. Schemas. Schema is the overall structure of the database. That is, in the column headers, in tabular form, we can view a table as a column having some column headers, and under that the information are stored. Suppose a table which stores information of a student, like student name, roll number, and subject details. So the structure, that is the column headers that are used, is known as the structure of the database, which are very frequently changed. If there is a updation in the system or application, then only the database can be changed. The schemas can be changed. The instances keeps on changing, but the schema changes very frequently. Data models. Data models are collection of conceptual tools for describing data relationships, data semantics, and consistency constraints. The database model can be classified into 4 categories, that is, relational model, entity relationship model, object-based data model, and semi-structured data model. In relationship model, the relational model uses a collection of tables to represent both data and relationships among those data. Each table has multiple columns, and each column has a unique name. The tables are also known as relations. The relationship model is an example of a record-based model. Record-based model are named because the database is structured in fixed format records of several types. Now next is entity relationship model. Entity relationship or ER model uses a collection of basic objects like entities and relationships among those objects. An entity is a thing or object in real world that is distinguishable from other objects. In ER model, basically it is pictorial representation of the database, and it also depicts the basic relationships exist among the relation tables. That is, which entity is a primary key, which is a weak entity key, and all these features are depicted in the ER model. Now, next is object model, object-based data model. Object-oriented programming, it is the extension of ER model with notions of encapsulation, methods, and object identities. That is, it follows the concept of object-oriented programming. The data model combines the features of object-oriented data models. Next is semi-structured data model. The semi-structured data model permits the specification of data where individual data items of the same type may have different set of attributes. In this contrast, the data models mentioned earlier everywhere data item of a particular type must have same set of attributes. Thank you.